Five things that are keeping women stuck in direct selling and network marketing. Hello, hello, lovely. Today, I want to talk about something that I think is affecting far more women in direct selling and network marketing than they realize, and that is being stuck, right? So now, when I say stuck, here's what I mean. Your sales aren't where you want them to be. Your confidence isn't where you want it to be. Your business isn't growing the way that you hoped or thought it would. You're working hard, but not seeing the results you want. You've been telling yourself for months, or maybe it's even years, that you're going to take your business more seriously, but somehow not much has changed. Right? Sound like you? If you said yes to any of these, this is absolutely a podcast that you want to be listening to. Now, before we dive in, I do want to say something really important. Okay, I need you to hear this. Being stuck does not mean you're lazy, right? You're not stuck because you're lazy. Being stuck is not because you're not capable. Okay. You're being stuck. That doesn't mean it's not because you're not good enough, right? In fact, some of the most hardworking women I know are stuck, right? And the problem usually isn't if it. The problem is that there are a few things happening behind the scenes that are holding them back. And maybe this is you as well. So today I am going to share 5 of the biggest things I see keeping women stuck in the direct selling network marketing industry. And hopefully, if you recognize yourself in one of these, you can start making some changes, right? Because the good news is you don't have to stay stuck. And this is what I want you to say. I want you, if you recognize yourself in any of these, this recognition is like the first part to making change, right? Because if you don't realize why you're stuck or what's going on, then it's really hard to make the change. And if one of my favorite sayings, if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? So let's start with number one. As I said, I'm going to share 5 of the biggest things that I see happening, call them mistakes maybe, that I see happening, and take from this, listen and take from this and work out what you need to address, what you need to change, right? So the first one, waiting until you feel confident. And oh my goodness, this one is huge, right? If you want to, share down in the comments of wherever you're listening, or send me a message. I always love hearing from you, wonderful women. If any of this resonates today, feel free to comment below, depending on where you're listening or watching this, or as I say, you're always welcome to reach out with a private message on Facebook. So waiting until you feel confident, this is absolutely a huge one, right? And I see it all the time. Women tell me, I'll do the reel when I feel more confident. I'll go live in my customer Facebook group when I feel more confident. I'll start showing up more when I feel more confident, because you feel like you know what you're doing, so you show up more, right? I'll reach out to people when I feel more confident. But here's the thing. Confidence doesn't usually come before action, right? Confidence comes because of the taking the actions, right? Think about anything you've ever become good at, right? Look, maybe it was learning to drive, maybe it was learning a sport, learning, I don't know, how to cook. I don't know, maybe it's parenting. Do we ever get really good at parenting? Who knows? Maybe it's been about public speaking. Maybe it's been, it's running your current business or a different business, other jobs and things in the past, right? Whenever you've needed to learn how to do something, right, you got to take the action, and then the confidence comes because you've learned what to do and you've taken action on doing it, right? And I'm absolutely sure that when you started something new, you weren't confident at the beginning, right? Whatever it was. You became confident because you did it, okay? And direct selling and network marketing is really no different from that, right? The women growing their businesses aren't really successfully, like, growing, aren't necessarily the most confident women. They're often the women that are willing to take action before confidence arrives, right? So if you have been waiting to feel ready, maybe this is your reminder today that confidence actually grows through doing, not by waiting, right? Because when you learn what to do, you take the action, you keep doing it, you get better at it, which grows your confidence, right? And then you do it more because you're feeling more confident, right? So second mistake that I see a lot is not learning what the right Facebook strategies are, right? And this one is so important, and it's the reason I do so much training and so much support around the right Facebook strategies, right? It's because women work hard, showing up on Facebook, but they're working hard on the wrong things. And this could be you, right? And that's frustrating, right? Because you think, well, I'm posting, I'm trying, I'm showing up, right? And you're not getting the traction you want, and so that's frustrating, right? And why that happens is because potentially it might be you, or you might know others, right? Depends whether you feel this is you, but maybe it is, generally it is that you just don't really understand how to use Facebook strategically, right? You've never learned how to use Facebook to grow a business, right? It is different, okay? And I talk about this a lot. It's a completely different kettle of fish using Facebook to grow a business than like just showing up, hanging out, sharing fun memes with your family and your friends and stuff, right? If you want to use Facebook, and it is the best tool to help you grow your direct selling or network marketing business, you actually need to know what works, right? And Facebook has changed over the years, right? What worked 10 years ago doesn't necessarily work today, right? Even what worked 2 years ago, right, doesn't necessarily work today. Some things change, some things don't, some things need a new, like a rework. And of course, things are always evolving, right? Whether it's Facebook stories, posts, reels, groups, pages, like they're always evolving. Things are changing and things are getting better, right? And this is why learning matters, right? Because spending time doing the work, posting and etc. without a strategy totally can leave you feeling exhausted, right? But when women learn how to create Facebook content that attracts people, and I'm sure that's what you want, learn how to build relationships, learn how to start conversations, learn how to use Facebook groups effectively, how to create engagement, that's when everything starts to change, right? And it's honestly one of the biggest reasons that I created my Beehive group membership program, right? Because I wanted women to stop guessing, okay, and start understanding what actually works, right? So if you haven't heard of my Beehive program, you want to know more, just flip me a message saying Beehive, right? And I'll get you out some information. So the third mistake I see is inconsistency, right? Now, before you all get defensive, let's just have an honest conversation, right? Because consistency isn't always exciting and it's not glamorous. And sometimes life gets busy. I get that, right? But consistency matters. And I've had so many conversations with women who like, yeah, I'm showing up consistently. But then when I ask more questions and we dive in and we discover, well, no, they're not, right? And that's why I say you've got to be honest in this, right? Because success in direct selling and network marketing rarely comes from like one amazing post or one amazing month or one amazing Facebook Live, right? Success comes from showing up over and over and over again, right? Even when nobody seems to be watching, even when you feel like you're talking to yourself, right? When engagement feels low, even when you're doubting yourself, right? You've got to stay consistent. It's so important, right? Because what I've noticed is a lot of women actually underestimate how long it takes to build momentum, right? They show up for 2 weeks, think feels like no one's paying attention, so then they disappear for 3, right? Inconsistent. Showing up for a few days and then disappearing again, okay? Inconsistent, right? And then they wonder why they're not getting traction, okay? Momentum needs consistency. Trust needs consistency. Results need consistency, right? And the women who stay consistent are usually the women who eventually break through, right? I don't know if you haven't worked this one out yet, but direct selling and network marketing, it's not a get rich quick scheme, right? It does take effort and energy and knowledge to build a successful, like a long-term successful, sustainable, profitable direct selling or network marketing business. And that's what I did for over 16 years in the industry, built a multi-million-dollar direct selling business. And you know what, but it takes time and energy, right? It didn't happen overnight, okay? And that's something that's really, really important to remember, okay? You got to stay consistent. If you want to build, that hugely successful business, you've got to learn what the right things to be doing are, and you've got to do them consistently, all right? It's really, really important. Fourth mistake that I see happening, right, is trying to do everything alone, okay? And this one is huge, right? Because so many women are trying to figure everything out by themselves, right? And that can honestly be so exhausting, right? They're Googling, they're watching random videos, free masterclasses here and there. I will say, if you're watching any of my free masterclasses, you will get so much value add out of there. But, maybe you're trying different things, you're listening to conflicting advice, and you basically end up feeling overwhelmed, right? Meanwhile, getting nowhere fast, right? Is this you? Let me know. One of the biggest reasons women succeed faster, right, is because they stop trying to figure out everything alone, right? Stop trying to figure it all out alone. They get support. They learn from people who have already done it, right? Be careful who you follow, okay? They ask questions. They become part of a community, right? And that's powerful, because business, it really can feel lonely sometimes, especially if nobody around you understands what it is you're trying to build. And I hear this so much from women who, their wives and mothers and grandmothers, they're often isn't that support at home from family members and even friends, right? And because they don't get it, who still hears that old adage, it's a pyramid scheme, you'll never make any money, all that sort of stuff. Like, that's crap, right? But you have got to understand how to build the business. You have got to understand what the right strategies are, and you have got to show up consistently. It's not just going to wave a magic wand and, magically, you're having massive success, right? So it is important to make sure that you've got that support around you, that knowledge and support, right? Because it makes a difference. The encouragement makes a difference, that support, accountability as well, and that sense of community. And there's many different places that you can find it. Of course, I've got my, there's options with me on Facebook. I've got my free Facebook community, Be Successful in Direct Selling. And then, of course, I've got my Beehive Group membership program as well, which the women in there are getting everything, every last ounce of information out of my head, all the training and all the support in there. All right, number 5. If you stay inside your comfort zone, this is going to be a really big problem, all right? And this one actually links beautifully to last week's episode. Have you listened to it yet? If you haven't, go find last week's episode, because I think this might be the biggest one of all, right? Your comfort zone feels safe. That's just normal, right? But it's really where the growth actually happens, right? Your comfort zone says, don't do the real. Don't go live. Do you like my voices? I don't know how many different voices I can do. Don't try something new. Don't put yourself out there. Or maybe it's a really strong voice. Don't learn AI. Don't invest in yourself. Right? Are these the little voices running around in your head? Or maybe it's actually the people around you, right? I remember hearing from a lady recently, actually, and I felt for her so much. She said that she'd gone live once on her Facebook page, and she got all this negative feedback from a family member, and it really stopped her from going out there and going live again. And that makes me really sad, because something like going live, it does take a little bit of put on your big girl panties, find 20 seconds of courage and press the live button to go live in the first place. So it takes some courage to do it in the first place. But it is the fastest way to build know, like, and trust, right? With your followers, with your groupies, potential customers, existing customers, right? And so it's really something that I think is, you've got to have that support. And, and if you've got those voices not only in your head, but, from people around you, totally, that is really, really tough. And I don't like that. I don't like people that don't support don't support women and don't support you, in doing what you want to do, right? It's why I'm so passionate about what I do. My whole mission, is to help as many women as I possibly can to be more successful in their direct selling or network marketing business. I know what it did for me, and my life and my family, my time in the industry. And I want that for you. I want that for as many women as possible. And it is why I do my podcast. I run my free Facebook masterclasses. And then for those who are ready to invest in themselves, I've got my Beehive membership program as well. So I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but you know what basically what I'm talking about is getting outside of your comfort zone, right? Because, everything you want is usually sitting just outside your comfort zone, right? I've totally learned that over the years for myself, and for so many clients that I've worked with over the years as well, right? Outside of your comfort zone, that is where the confidence comes. That is where the growth comes, the sales, the customers, the team members, right? The opportunities. They are usually waiting on the other side of doing something that feels really uncomfortable. Okay. You got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? It is scary, but it's also exciting, right? Because it means that growth is possible for you, right? Give these things a go. Have a go. Do it consistently. Step outside of your comfort zone. Put your big girl panties on, right? Find that 20 seconds of courage. Post the post. Go live. Share the reel, whatever it is. There's lots of different things that you can do, that will help you move forward in your direct selling and network marketing business, right? What I see, one of the things I love most about the women inside of my Beehive program is actually seeing what happens when they stop doing these things, right? So when they stop waiting, when they learn the right strategies, when they become more consistent, when they ask for help, when they step outside their comfort zone, that's when the magic really starts to happen. Women like Cindy, who more than doubled her sales and commissions and has recently earned her first overseas incentive trip with her company Amare, right? Lou, who's with Sensi, she has tripled her sales and promoted up the ranks, right? Leanne is with, oh my goodness, I've had a mind blank. Oh, Larev. Leanne is with Larev, right? And she sold more in the 4 months after she joined my program than she had in the previous 9 months, right? Jamie is with Synergence, and she has absolutely embraced consistency, and has recently double ranked with her company, which is fantastic. And these women aren't successful because they're lucky, right? There was really no luck involved. They're successful because they decided they were no longer willing to stay stuck, right? They went and they learned and they took action, and they are reaping the results. It's fantastic, right? So which one of these 5 things resonated with you most? Was it number 1? And you can just put a number down below. It depends on where you're, watching or listening. But you're also welcome, remember, to reach out with a private message on Facebook. Number 1, was it waiting until you feel confident? Number 2, was it not learning the right Facebook strategies? 3, was it inconsistency? 4, was it trying to do everything alone? 5, staying inside your comfort zone. And let's have a 6. All of the above, right? If you are an all of the above, you absolutely need to message me. I can give you access to some extra free training. And the important thing to remember from today's episode is awareness is the first step, right? Once you know what is holding you back, you can start changing it, right? And remember, you don't need to fix everything overnight, right? You just need to take the next step. Rome was not built in a day, right? As much as we wish we could change everything, learn everything, overnight, have it all change immediately, that's not the reality, right? That's not real life, right? But you just need to take that next step. One reel, one post, one conversation, one decision, right? One small step outside of your comfort zone can make a difference, because those small steps eventually become the big results. And if you'd like some help working out what's keeping you stuck and what to do next, send me a message on Facebook. I'd love to have a chat. I always love meeting women in the direct selling and network marketing industry. So, my lovelies, until next time, I want you to keep believing in yourself. You can be successful in direct selling or network marketing, right? Keep showing up, keep moving forward, because you are, I promise, capable of far more than you think. And I want you to hear that. All right, lovelies, that is it. I will see you soon on Facebook. Thanks for catching this week's podcast. Don't forget to share it with a friend. Oh, you know what I haven't mentioned for a while? If you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel or my Spotify channel, you absolutely want to do that. You will see the link somewhere around where you are watching or listening to this. See you next time. Bye.